Are there Bears in Chicago? What about Lions in Detroit? What the hell is a Green Bay Packer? Today we're diving into the history and origin story of every NFC team in the National Football League. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and leave a comment below to tell us what was your favorite story. Chicago Bears. A.E. Staley, who owned a starch manufacturing plant, established the Chicago Bears in 1920 under the name Decatur Staleys. The inaugural season took place in Decatur, Illinois, and the club bore the name of the sponsoring business. The Chicago Staleys were the new name of the team once they relocated there in 1921. After selling the franchise to George Halas and Edward Dutch Sterneman in 1922, the Chicago Bears became the new name of the team. Taking inspiration from the city's moniker, the Windy City, and the thought that the squad would embody the ferocity and strength of a bear, the new team name was settled upon and the Chicago Bears were born. The Detroit Lions. In 1930, the Detroit Lions were established in Portsmouth, Ohio, as the Portsmouth Spartans. This squad takes its moniker from the city's moniker, the Spartan City. Both the city's well-known status as the Motor City and the concept that the team would be strong and powerful, akin to a lion, were taken into consideration while selecting the name. Before relocating to Detroit in 1934, the club spent 4 seasons in Portsmouth before moving to Detroit due to financial hardships. The Lions saw a lot of early success in the 30s all the way up to the 50s, including multiple titles. But ever since the Super Bowl was created, the team is one of 4 to have never made it to the big game in February. Green Bay Packers. In 1919, Earl Curly Lambeau and George Calhoun established the Green Bay Packers as a professional football team. The Indian Packing Company, which had sponsored the Green Bay Packers football team in 1919, is the inspiration behind the team's name. Curly was working for the company as a shipping clerk and managed to convince his bosses to sponsor his new endeavor. Who would have known that an ambitious factory worker would start one of the NFL's most decorated franchises? Minnesota Vikings. In a reflection of the significant Scandinavian-American culture that Minnesota possesses, the Minnesota Vikings have been given the moniker of the Vikings, referencing the medieval ocean explorers. The founders of the Vikings were Max Winter, E. William Boyer, H. P. Skoglund, Ole Haugsrud, and Bernard H. Ritter, Jr. In 1960, the Minnesota Vikings were established as an expansion team, and they did not begin their season of play until 1961. The 27th of September 1960 was the day when they were officially declared the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas Cowboys. The legendary American cowboy who embodies the qualities of bravery, independence, and strength was the inspiration behind the naming of the Dallas Cowboys. However, before they were the Cowboys, they were the Dallas Steers and Dallas Rangers. They settled on Cowboys to avoid confusion with the baseball team bearing the same Ranger name. In the year 1960, the Dallas Cowboys were established as an expansion team, and on March 19th, they were given the official name of the Dallas Cowboys. They started playing in the year 1961. The majority founding investors of the team were Clint Murchison, Jr., John D. Murchison, as well as minority shareholders Toddy Lee, Bedford Wynn, and William R. Hahn. New York Giants. Timothy Mara, a bookmaker and boxing promoter, established the New York Giants in 1925 for an investment of $500. Under the name the New York Football Giants, Mara wanted to establish his newly formed football team properly, while also letting it be known this was not the baseball team of the same name. Their first season of competition was in 1925, and on August 1st, 1925, they were given the official moniker of the New York Giants. As a representation of power and majesty, the New York Giants were given their name in honor of the enormous skyscrapers and buildings that can be found in New York City. Philadelphia Eagles. As a result of the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets' bankruptcy and ceased operations halfway through the season, the Philadelphia Eagles were founded in 1933. They were intended to act as a successor for the failed franchise. The Philadelphia Eagles were officially awarded the name Philadelphia Eagles on July 8, 1933. The Philadelphia Eagles Football Club got its name from the American eagle, symbolizing freedom, strength, and courage. The team name Eagle is also inspiration from the insignia of President Roosevelt's National Recovery Act, Blue Eagle. Washington Commanders. When the Washington Commanders were first formed in 1932, they were once referred to as the Boston Braves. They became known as the Boston Redskins after undergoing a name change in 1933. After moving to Washington District of Columbia in 1937, they changed their name to the Washington Redskins and moved their football team there. Beginning in the year 2022, the group went through a rebranding process and became known as the Washington Commanders. A symbol of leadership, discipline, and power, the Washington Commanders were born. They were given this name in order to pay homage to the nation's capital, as well as the heritage that the team has established in the military. Arizona Cardinals, one of the oldest professional football clubs in the United States. The Arizona Cardinals have been in continuous operation since their foundation in 1898 from the Morgan Athletic Club by Chris O'Brien. A couple years later, wearing used University of Chicago jerseys, O'Brien described the shirts as Cardinal Red, and then the Racine Street Cardinals were formed after the street they played on. They are also one of the oldest teams in the Professional Football League. After 40 years in Chicago, they moved to St. Louis, Missouri in 1960, where they adopted the name St. Louis Cardinals to reflect their new geographic location. During the year 1988, they made their way to Arizona and established their permanent residence there. The Arizona Cardinals got their name from the northern cardinal bird, which is a common bird in the desert Southwest and is a symbol of beauty, vigor, and passion. Los Angeles Rams. After being established in 1936 as the Cleveland Rams from Cleveland, Ohio, the team is currently known as the Los Angeles Rams. They were founded by Homer Marshman and Damon Wetzel. Wetzel selected the moniker Rams after his favorite college football team, the Fordham Rams. The year 1946 marked the year that they relocated to the place that is now home to the Rams in LA. After the 1994 season, the Rams packed up and moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where they decided to change their team name to St. Louis Rams in order to reflect their new location. The squad made its comeback to Los Angeles in the year 2016, which was also the year that they made their second and final appearance in the LA area. San Francisco 49ers. The All-America Football Conference, AAFC, had the San Francisco 49ers among its original clubs when it was established by Tony Morabito in 1946. When the squad was formed, it was named for the city of San Francisco. Since their 1950 National Football League debut, they have been a much-loved and respected aspect of the Bay Area sports scene. The San Francisco 49ers took their name from the 1849 California Gold Rush, a time when hundreds of prospectors came to the San Francisco region and other parts of Northern California in a quest of wealth. The squad got its name to reflect the tenacious will and pioneering attitude of the early Americans who came to the region. Seattle Seahawks. After a naming contest which drew more than 2,000 entries, the name Seahawk, which is another term for osprey, was chosen on June 17, 1975. The name Seahawk beat out the likes of Skippers, Kings, Lumberjacks, and Pioneers to take the victory in the naming contest. With the Seattle Seahawks joining the National Football League as an expansion franchise in 1976, the NFL was thrilled to have the team enter the league. The Seahawk, a bird of prey that is indigenous to the Pacific Northwest and is a symbol of strength, speed, and agility, was chosen to serve as the inspiration for the naming of the team. Atlanta Falcons. The National Football League welcomed the Atlanta Falcons as an expansion franchise in 1965. The Falcons were awarded to Rankin M. Smith after a long struggle to get the city a professional football team. The name Falcon was suggested by quite a few, but it was a school teacher from Griffin, Georgia that was announced the winner. "The Falcon is proud and dignified," she wrote, "with great courage and fight. It never drops its prey. It is deadly and has a great sporting tradition." The Falcon's speed, agility, and precision was chosen as the inspiration for the naming of the Atlanta Falcons because of the team's dedication to taking prompt and decisive action on the field. The name was selected to symbolize that devotion. Carolina Panthers. As an expansion team in the National Football League, the Carolina Panthers were established in the year 1993 from the beginning by Jerry Richardson after a long campaign of rallying for the Carolinas to get a football team. The name Panthers was selected by team president Mark Richardson, son of the owner Jerry Richardson. It's a name our family thought signifies what we thought a team should be: powerful, sleek, and strong, he said. A native animal of the Carolinas, the panther was chosen as the name because it was thought to be an appropriate way to pay homage to the history of the region. New Orleans Saints. The National Football League initially accepted the New Orleans Saints as an expansion team in 1967. This was the year that the Saints were founded. The team was named the Saints due to its birthday on the Roman Catholic Church's All Saints' Day. Quite a fitting name for a city that has a large Catholic community within New Orleans. Choosing this name was done with the intention of conveying the team's commitment to the city and the people who live there, as well as their desire to infuse the sport of football with a sense of joy and celebration. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers of Tampa Bay were given their name in honor of the renowned pirate Jose Gaspar, who was known as the last of the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers were named in order to reflect the squad's commitment to the Tampa Bay region, which has a long and storied history of piracy and adventure. It was decided to give the squad a name that would convey this passion. In 1976, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were created as an expansion team inside the National Football League. This was done under the supervision of the NFL. Because the team's emblem is a stylized pirate ship, this is a reference not only to the name of the team, but also to the long and glorious history of pirates in the region. What was your favorite story and why? Did you know how each team got its name? If you want to know the current state of an NFC East franchise and their dangerous new weapon drafted in the top 10 this past year, check back soon, you won't want to miss it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and leave a comment about what you enjoyed.